distinguished dais, and respected dignitaries in the audience. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Prakash Rane. I will be taking around 10 minutes of yours. I am founder and managing director of a company called ABM Knowledgeware Ltd. We are the privileged partners of KDMC, where we did the e-governance project in 2002 and went on to implement in rest of the almost 230 urban local bodies in Maharashtra. In last 3 years, these 230 urban local bodies have carried out financial transactions covering almost 6,000 crore rupees and citizen services of almost 6 crore citizen services have been delivered. We are also one of the few companies in the country who has been selected by almost 4 states for statewide replication of urban local bodies, and we are partnering almost 850 urban local bodies in India to carry out their e-governance in the e-municipality. All of us, we know the word smart city is being coined, being talked about for last almost 2 years. And the fact is that we are still grappling with precisely what is the definition or what are the tangible ways of arriving at there. So I would try and look at a little more tangible things which we can touch and feel about smart city. Now, smart city has an integral part which is also called as Internet of Things, IoT. And nowadays, IoT is being expanded to be called as Internet of Everything. Now, Internet of Everything is going to be the foundation of the smart city. And it is on the basis of IDC research, it is said that IoE is going to generate $19 trillion value in year 2020. And out of that, public sector will take almost 4.6 trillion as the value to be created under IoE. The importance of these figures is that smart city is not merely about comfort being created, it is a big economic proposition. IoE is already delivering value. In UK, where they had done the smart lighting, the rate of crime has come down by almost 7%. Or in US, where immersive video conferencing was used, the travel cost has come down by almost 15%. So I am repeating the point that smart city is a pure economic proposition, and it is not neither purely a political nor purely a social proposition. It is purely economical position. There is a lot of value which is being created in smart city. If you look at the distribution of civilian benefits in smart city, the cities are going to get 63% of the total civilian benefits of the smart city. That is why we are here in a city called as Kalyan Dombivali, or that is what is going to be playing the important role. The federal government is going to get, the central government will get 15% of the civilian benefits arising out of smart city, and the states are going to get 22% of the civilian benefits that are going to be generated out. So it is going to make a strong impact on cities, and there are all the reasons why cities should be the one who should be doing that. Now, what is exactly IoE doing, Internet of Everything or Internet of Things which we are saying? It is putting together the people, processes, data and things. If you see the way machine to machine is connected, or the way person to machine is connected, or person to person is connected, there is going to be a lot of value which will be created, which is going to be part and parcel of the implementation of the smart city. If you look at typical government situation or public sector situation and look at machine to machine connectivity, when we say I'm going to do a smart building which will control electricity consumption, or I'm going to do some kind of a smart lighting, now these are actually the machine to machine connections which will be done under smart city, which are going to result into lower operational cost. Or if you look at machine to people connectivity, which is under the Internet of Everything, video surveillance. If I capture the video images in a crowd and do video analytics and assess a possible danger or a possible mishap happening, that is how the machine to people will work. And people to people is a standard methodology where you can bring your own device and connect to a particular network, or you do teleworking. Now these are the possibilities in smart city under Internet of Everything. Now this subject has been discussed quite a lot, but I'll just run through this quickly. It is not about 100 cities in India. It is not about the 20 cities identified today. There are trends which are indicating that smart city is something which nobody can avoid. What are those trends? We just heard Mr. Ravindran speaking about that loss of talent from Kalyan Dombivali. So if you want talented people to stay in Kalyan Dombivali or any other city for that matter, it is extremely necessary that we create an ecosystem which is vibrant And that can be created if the startups or the young generation come here. Smart city has an inbuilt advantage that it creates innovative ecosystem. It creates industry expertise. That's why cities are going to compete against each other for retaining the talented workers, and smart city is going to be one of the immediate reasons which will help. It is not a secret that there is a traffic congestion. Traffic congestion is there on the road, traffic congestion is there on the air, traffic congestion is there in the schools, traffic congestion is there in the hospitals. There is a traffic congestion even in the water lines. So traffic congestion is any kind of a civic infrastructure is under stress, and you cannot meet the increasing demand. So the only method to manage within the existing infrastructure is to do more in less, and that is only the technology of the smart city which is going to give the solution. Now there is an international magazine called Nature. It has come out with a report that Earth will pass climate departure in 2047. What it means is in 2047, the coldest year will be hotter than the coldest year prior to 2005, which means the energy efficiency and carbon emissions are going to be extremely urgent issues. Countries like Nigeria or places like Lagos, they are going to pass the climate departure in 15 to 16 years. There is no choice but to manage energy more efficiently and control the carbon emission. The solution again is smart city. And then there's an issue of digital divide. We have a youth today who wants the city in his pocket. He wants to book hotel on his smartphone. He wants to tweet with the politician on the smartphone. He wants to register a pothole complaint on his smartphone. And on the other hand, you have elderly people who do not have comfort with the IT infrastructure, or you have poor people who do not have access to this. So we need to bridge the digital divide. Now the political leadership on one hand has to manage the youth and the personal consistent experience on his smartphone which he wants, and on the other hand, the administration has to take care of the walk-in counters or the offices which needs to do. Now these are the 4 trends which are driving smart cities. Now coming to certain more tangible points about smart cities. How will it benefit? It will automate connections. What I mean here is, today if you want to call somebody, call a doctor, when you don't feel well, you call a doctor. But imagine a situation that there is a wearable computer which is put into the patient's body, like Apple Watch, and if the message directly goes to the doctor that some parameters are doing bad, the doctor will be able to take a preventive action. It will reduce the crowd into the hospital. It will probably help the life, and preventive measure is always better than the corrective measure. So it will automate connections. You don't have to proactively do connections, it will automate connection. Second is faster personal communication and decision making. Let's look at the fire brigade. If the disaster management is appropriately implemented, and if you have the firefighters who are fitted with sensors where they proactively come to know that in a particular location you have the percentage of carbon monoxide reaching a lethal level, then he will reach that particular spot much before the fire breaks out. It will be easier, there will be no traffic congestion, there will be no emergencies. The third benefit which stakeholder will get is it will uncover new information. There is a well-known case study in San Francisco where the San Francisco police had identified certain area which is highly prone for gun violence. They were under firm impression that they are getting 80% of the calls from the citizens which report the gun violence, gunshots. Then they implemented an acoustic sensor which was calibrated to detect gunshots. And then they realized that it was only 10% of the calls that they were getting for the gunshots which were heard in their premises. Which means the information which they had about the gun violence in a particular area was wrong 8 times. And hence they were not deploying the police force in that particular manner. After getting this information, which I call as uncovering new information, the police deployment or the methodologies to control the gun violence in that area was controlled. Now this is another way how the stakeholders will benefit when smart city is implemented the way it has to be implemented. We are into IT industry, we are practitioners. We find a lot of tenders being floated by a lot of states. And we must agree that there is not a lot of clarity yet. As of now, if you look at some international studies, which would include India also, no city has reached the extreme right stages of managed and optimized stage. there are the stages which a smart city will go through is ad hoc stage, then opportunistic stage, repeatable stage, managed stage, and optimized stage. I don't want to even discuss the manage and optimized stage because that's an ultimate situation where a city will be able to have competitive advantage having implemented smart city, or it will be able to do predictive analysis and avoid take certain policy decisions. I don't even talk about that situation. We are probably at an ad hoc situation. An ad hoc situation would actually mean that it will be done in silos. The experience shows that there is nothing wrong about it. What will you get at the end of ad hoc policy is you will get certain pilots which are successful. You will get benefit. It can be a small smart parking area. It can be another small initiative. On the basis of this, you will move to what is called an opportunistic maturity model, where the stakeholder will do larger buy-in. It will be spread across the organization. And probably the benefits would be a little more sustainable compared to the first two stages. And the third stage is repeatable stage, where you do integrated smart city implementation, which can be replicated. I don't want to discuss the next two stages for the obvious reason. Now let's take a case study of Barcelona. In 2011, Xavier Trias, the mayor of Barcelona, had a vision for smart city. So he had three fundamental pillars. One is local projects, which means he focused only on the local city and the technological projects which will benefit only on the local city. Second, the international vision. He wanted to create a platform which is replicable, which can be repeated and which can be easily replicated. That was his international vision. It was limited to Europe. So probably he wanted to take it to the other countries in Europe. And third, very interesting thing he did, he wanted to create technological standardization specifically for cities. I have not come across this kind of a vision where technological standardization is being done specifically for cities. Now, these are the three pillars on which Xavier had built his vision for smart city. There were two important things which were done by him. One was he reorganized the city council and created what is called an urban habitat department, which he also called a smart city department. And in the smart city department, he integrated environment department, urban planning department, he integrated a transportation department and IT and administration. So as a result of which, if you take a particular street, what happens is that department is responsible for lighting on the streets, parking on the street, maintenance of the street. So this particular urban habitat or smart city department was not working in silos. He could succeed in doing that. I'm sure that there are problems we have here when we want to break multiple silos and bring them together. But this is one of the learning as available in the international case studies. And second thing was there was smart regulation done. The government had actually passed a bylaw called as MES. Now this is something very interesting. We do this in a very informal and unstructured manner. But what the Spanish government had done is they did a bylaw called MES, Mobility, E-Governance and Smart City. Everybody knew that it will be implemented, but it may not sustain. So for institutionalization, they passed this particular bylaw. And what were the results? All of us, we know that the country as such was not doing very well. They were under sovereign debt. But the intrinsic rating done by the probably Standard & Poor for Barcelona was AAA. And because of the condition of the country they were into, it was downgraded to BBB. That was the country only after London and Paris which got the maximum amount of investment into their particular state. The second benefit was there was a lot of benefits they got in terms of job creation. And these are the proofs of the implementation of smart city, success of implementation of smart city. The smart city policy landscape in India is very well known to everybody. It is the Hriday scheme, smart city, AMRUT, the industrial corridor and economic corridor. Thank you very much.